A life brimming with potential. A brilliant, compassionate 19-year-old sophomore at the University of Pennsylvania, home for the holidays, ready to embrace a future that seemed limitless. Blaze Bernstein was all of this and more, a young man whose very name suggested a bright, powerful light. But on a cold January night in 2018, that light was brutally extinguished, not by a random act of violence, but by a former high school acquaintance driven by a venomous ideology of hate. The promise of an Ivy League education, a loving family, and a life dedicated to making the world a better place was shattered, leaving behind a mystery that would expose a dark undercurrent of radicalization and prejudice in an affluent California community. This is the story of Blaze Bernstein, a tragedy that serves as a chilling reminder of the real-world cost of online extremism. Remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes of the Calendar of Crime. Also coming soon to Substack. The story begins on January 2, 2018, in Lake Forest, California. Blaze was home from Philadelphia, enjoying his winter break. Around 11 p.m., he told his parents he was heading out to meet an old high school acquaintance, Samuel Woodward, at Borrego Park. This seemingly innocuous meeting was the last time Blaze was seen alive. When he failed to return home the next morning, his parents, Gideon Bernstein and Jean Pepper, immediately knew something was terribly wrong. Blaze was not the kind of person to simply vanish. He was responsible, communicative, and deeply connected to his family. The initial search began with a frantic, localized effort, quickly escalating to a full-scale missing person investigation. Authorities began to focus on the last person known to have seen Blaze, Samuel Woodward. When questioned by police, Woodward's story was riddled with inconsistencies. He claimed he and Blaze had driven to the park, but that Blaze had gotten out of the car and walked off into the night, never to return. Woodward stated he waited for a while before driving away. However, investigators quickly discovered a crucial piece of evidence that contradicted his account. The car Woodward was driving, a dark Jeep, was captured on surveillance footage at the park entrance, but it remained there for over an hour before leaving. Furthermore, a search of Woodward's vehicle and his parents' home revealed disturbing clues. A shovel was found in the trunk, and a section of the car's interior was heavily stained with what appeared to be blood. Woodward's hands also bore scratches and abrasions, which he attempted to explain away as injuries from a fight with a friend. The mounting evidence pointed away from a simple missing person case and toward a violent crime. The search for Blaze continued for 8 agonizing days. On January 10, 2018, the worst fears of the Bernstein family were confirmed. Blaze's body was discovered in a shallow grave near a hiking trail in Borrego Park, partially buried in mud. The medical examiner's report was horrifying. Blaze had been stabbed 28 times. The sheer brutality of the attack suggested a crime fueled by intense rage and personal animosity. With the discovery of the body, the investigation shifted entirely to Samuel Woodward. The evidence from the car, combined with the location of the body, led to Woodward's arrest 2 days later. As investigators delved deeper into Woodward's life, the true, sinister motive for the murder began to emerge. The motive was not a personal dispute, but a chilling manifestation of hate. Blaze Bernstein was openly gay and Jewish. Samuel Woodward, it was revealed, was a member of the Atomwaffen Division, a violent neo-Nazi terrorist group. Investigators uncovered a trove of evidence detailing Woodward's radicalization, including hate-filled journals, extremist literature, and a history of online communication with other white supremacists. In one particularly disturbing chat, Woodward discussed gay baiting and mentioned a previous victim he had attacked. He also posted a picture of a knife with the text, "Texting is boring, but murder isn't." The prosecution argued that Woodward lured Blaze to the park with the intent to kill him, motivated by his anti-gay and anti-Semitic ideology. This was not just murder. It was a premeditated hate crime. The trial of Samuel Woodward was delayed for years, partly due to the COVID-19 pandemic and legal complexities, including a defense claim that Woodward suffered from Asperger's syndrome. When the trial finally began, the defense admitted Woodward killed Blaze but argued it was not premeditated or a hate crime. They suggested the murder was a result of Woodward's confusion about his own sexuality and his Fear of his homophobic father, claiming Blaze had sent flirtatious messages that Woodward wanted to keep secret. The prosecution, however, presented a powerful case, focusing on the 28 stab wounds, the premeditation implied by the shovel and the hour-long wait in the park, and the overwhelming evidence of Woodward's deep-seated violent white supremacist beliefs. In July 2024, after a 6-year wait for justice, the jury found Samuel Woodward guilty of first-degree murder with a hate crime enhancement. In November 2024, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The murder of Blaze Bernstein is a profound tragedy, a senseless loss of a young man with a bright future. While the conviction of Samuel Woodward brought a measure of closure, it also served as a stark warning about the insidious nature of online radicalization and the enduring threat of hate-fueled violence. Blaze's parents, Gideon and Jean, have channeled their grief into advocacy, establishing the Blaze It Forward Fund to honor their son's memory by promoting kindness and community service. Blaze Bernstein's light may have been extinguished too soon, but his story continues to inspire a fight against the darkness of prejudice. Thanks for watching. Please comment, share, like, and subscribe for future episodes from the Calendar of Crime.